Right.
I like that angle they've got of me there. It's good. I like the profile shot. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's great. Must be a new director.
If you're not careful, they do use that before the credits.
Yes, I know that. I reenacted the whole Blair Witch scene once, and that ended up in the extended version. Welcome to Have I Got News For You? I'm Bill Bailey. In the news this week. Round the back of the Old Bailey, the unseasonably warm weather explains why Judge Lord Townley Featherstone Briggs keeps calling for a recess. 15 years after the global financial meltdown, Gordon Brown has a dream about when he was Prime Minister and saved the world. In the...
Not your artificial hip again.
Thought I'd had it replaced.
What's that? That was a strange noise.
Yeah, no.
It's the water bottle.
Is it? Oh, it's... Oh, right. Oh, I see.
Yeah, mine's full of lithium.
In Nadine... Oh, I can't... It's just saying the word Nadine Dorris. It's just...
That's what it was. It gets all the tin rattling.
And in Nadine Dorris's old constituency, after a by-election replaces her, the residents pay tribute by erecting a statue of their old MP. On Ian's team tonight is a journalist and broadcaster who is currently writing a book on genius. She says it's well-researched, but some of us still waiting for the call. Please welcome Helen Lewis. On Paul's team tonight is a comedian who got into the finals of Britain's Got Talent thanks to Amanda Holden's golden buzzer. He said he came third, but it felt like winning, which is one of the catchphrases of the Lib Dems. Please welcome Daliso Chaponda. We begin with the bigger news stories of the week, and, well, I mean, this is a news programme after all. The clue's in the title. We have to cover these things. Ian and Helen, take a look at this.
Oh, look, America is getting involved in the Middle East. That's always ended well, classically. Oh, and Britain, too. Again, another great opportunity there. Yeah, so this is Netanyahu meeting Joe Biden, President Joe Biden. And then Rishi Sunak turned up a couple of days later to go, hello, I'm a world leader too.
Yes. This is, of course, the story. Yes, President Biden flew into the Middle East for a meeting with the Egyptian, Palestinian and Israeli presidents. But what was the problem with it?
Well, two of those didn't turn up.
Yeah.
So he flew in to have talks about a possible settlement with one side, which, again, is quite difficult to pull off.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was there, and he was there to urge restraint. He said, I'm standing by, but not standing by whatever you do, obviously. And then he left again. Yes. And then Rishi Sunak, our Prime Minister, went in to say the same thing.
This is kind of a recurring theme with Britain and America, isn't it? America goes in and says, stop that. And then Britain leans round behind and goes, yeah.
And they said, oh, it's 9/11. And Biden pointed out that 9/11 didn't go so well afterwards.
Yes.
They invaded two other countries, killed a lot of people, and then had to retreat ignominiously. So it's not a good parallel.
What did Joe Biden say on first meeting President Netanyahu about the hospital attack?
He said it had been done by, he thought, the other team, which was a very, very wince-worthy phrase. And then on the plane back, I think, he said, the Palestinians have got to learn to shoot straight, which was sort of a US president giving advice to terrorists, not classically something that happens.
No.
Biden's problem is that he comes, he goes, and does he have any influence? Rishi Sunak, we know he doesn't.
No.
I don't know, maybe he thinks standing next to Netanyahu is a bit like standing next to Zelensky.
Yes.
But it isn't.
No.
Because in Israel, you know, and you have to point this out, he's very unpopular than Netanyahu. He turned up to do a photo op with a load of soldiers and they booed him. You know, that's not popular.
No.
I don't think.
No, you're right.
He was called Mr. Security, and the one thing he failed to do was provide any security, apart from for his own job.
Did you see Richard Madeley try to ascertain some facts on Good Morning Britain? He was talking to Lib Dem Layla Moran, whose relatives live in Gaza.
It just needs to stop now.
With your family,
it just needs to stop.
With your family connections in Gaza, did you have any indication of what was going to happen 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago? Was there any word on the street in Gaza?
Not this.
I mean, what does he think is going on in their family WhatsApp group?
Yes.
Like, Iran didn't know, Mossad didn't know, but her family is like, I feel something in the air.
Yeah. I mean, Richard Madeley, the word on the street, like he knows what that is.
But I've not said anything because, like, I've wanted to be on Have I Got News for You for like 10 years, and then I come on the day when anything I say could ruin my career. And you're safe. You've been called national treasures. I'm like national embarrassment of your life. So I'm very careful what I say.
Yeah, we're like the Elgin Marbles, you know.
Yeah, we're about to be shipped out. I've gone from Zionist mouthpiece propagandist BBC right-winger to Corbynite, Hamasite, lefty bastard. And that's this afternoon.
The truth is just somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Right. You were trending on Twitter earlier on, Ian.
What do you mean Ian was trending on Twitter?
He was trending on X, formerly Twitter.
Was he? What were you doing?
I'd ran a cover of this magazine I run, which was an attempt...
The Exchange and Mark?
No, it was a very ill-judged cover in which I suggested moderation and balance might be a good idea, and then everyone who's immoderate and unbalanced piled in on me.
Yeah, you impartial bastard. Oh, buddy, not taking sides again. It could be worse. Could be Trump in charge.
Well, he says if he was in charge, it wouldn't have happened at all.
This is Donald Trump beginning to address the issue of the Middle East.
Oh, yeah.
But he gets a bit distracted.
People who sympathize with this are sick. They're sick and they're evil and they're not going to be fixed. You're not going to make them into wonderful people one day. I didn't know you had flies in Iowa. I hate flies. Now I'll get in trouble for saying that. Cruelty to animals. No, it's true. You know, I said the other day I was at a place and there's a beautiful place, but they had like flies. And I said, get fly paper. They said, sir, they're not allowed to sell it anymore because of cruelty to animals. They actually said that. I don't know. Can you get fly paper? It used to be great, right? But they said, you can't do that anymore, sir. It's cruelty.
I take it back. Send Trump in. Peace would happen just because of confusion.
Yes. That's how easy his mind just goes. Like, I'm focused on, oh, it's a fly, you know.
I just think he would make a phenomenally good improv comedian. His realist is falling. Don't you think? He just switches from...
No.
One of the key things of improvisation is that you have to listen.
30 years you've been doing this show, and I think I finally see you look offended.
Yes. Absolutely.
He was going to work it back with a no-fly zone joke.
That was extraordinary action. A groan followed by a round of applause.
The thing is, though, there is a fundamental flaw in his argument.
Yeah.
You know, saying you can't get flypaper anymore.
What's that?
Because you can. Look, there you go.
£5.79 for 16 rolls.
Yeah. A 16-pack pesticide-free fly paper strips, sticky fly catchers, set fruit fly trap inside, sticky trap for indoors and outdoors use. Why might Donald Trump be coming to Britain soon?
He's going to be hosting this show.
It's the P tape.
Yeah, the P tape, yes. He's going to come over here to sue.
Yes, he's actually using an English court to sue a former spy, Christopher Steele, over allegations that Trump held orgies and consorted with prostitutes in the presidential suite of a Moscow hotel, and apparently engaged in perverted sexual behaviour of the water sports variety.
Is he suing them for slander or for telling?
Well, I think it's... No, that's a good point. He's not actually suing for libel.
No, it's data protection.
It's a data breach. So, it's the misuse of personal data. That's what he's suing over. In a written witness statement to the High Court, he said, "It was embarrassing to have to explain to my family it wasn't true." Yeah, because usually it is true, and he's really let them down. So where else in the world has a bizarrely coiffured, rabble-rousing nutcase emerging as an electoral frontrunner?
Is this Argentina?
Yes, where tantric sex expert Javier Milei looks like he'd become the next president. Here he is.
Oh, blimey.
Who was he recently referred to as a fucking communist?
Wasn't it not Lula of Brazil?
No.
Stalin?
Stalin, yes. According to The Observer, it was the Pope. And this is what he said. He said, "The Pope champions social justice as a way of helping the underprivileged." The commie bastard. Back to Joe Biden then. In a Wall Street Journal poll, 73% of Americans think that Biden is too old to run for president. So how are Biden's team trying to kind of help him improve his image?
They're talking quite a lot about reincarnation.
They are producing cue cards to help him.
Yes.
You know, cue cards were spotted with these words. You enter the Roosevelt room and say hello to participants. You take your seat. You give brief comments, open brackets, 2 minutes, close brackets. Someone did have a kind word for Biden this week. Who was that?
Was it Putin?
It was. He said he'd invite the US president to sit down for pancakes and come to us for tea.
You got to watch the tea with Putin.
Yes, your tea. Do not touch his tea. Very good. This is, of course, US President Joe Biden's visit to Israel this week. Also in the headlines, Donald Trump has announced the European leg of his hugely popular courtroom tour. The accusations in the secret dossier centre around Donald Trump hiring prostitutes while staying at a $14,000 a night hotel room. Really? Sure, for 14 grand, it's all inclusive, isn't it? Paul and Daliso, take a look at this.
Oh. OK, yes, there's Rishi in a chip shop. There's a highly secure ballot box. Nobody could break into that. Yeah, this is the by-elections that we're talking about, isn't it? And there's the woman with a tin hat.
That's a GB News receptor.
Of course, this is the by-elections took place this week, or if you're a Conservative, the bye-bye elections. It's nearly 100 years since a party other than the Conservatives held mid-Bedfordshire. But sadly, last night didn't see the hopeful swing back to the Whigs.
So this is because Nadine Dorries, who spent a long time very, very annoyed that she wasn't granted a peerage or a damehood or whatever it was.
Oh, isn't it?
I didn't get one. I didn't create a fuss about it. You got a bit annoyed, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
You got a bit
I was
annoyed.
furious. But I'm doing panto instead as a dame.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for the plug. I'll be at Richmond Theatre this year.
Would anyone like to make any wild speculations about what did happen?
Yeah, she was eaten by a puma. I'll tell you what, not puma, any kind of wildcat.
Cloud leopard?
Oh, cloudy leopard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lovely cat.
Yeah.
It'd be an honour to be eaten by one.
Would it?
Well, she's looking for an honour.
After she resigned, she didn't leave. In Africa, we call it doing a Mugabe.
But she didn't turn up, she didn't do her job, she didn't go into the constituency, she just grumbled.
Didn't get that from Mugabe, did you?
A leaked Conservatives memo blamed expected losses on MPs who are personally associated with negative news stories. So you've got to be more specific, I think, really. The Evening Standard got in on the act, reporting that Chris Pincher's seat is up for grabs. Nadine's got very annoyed. She's tweeted that the memo had been written to shift the blame away from Sunak and deliberately leaked to a journalist who Number 10 regard as thick. Well, I'd have to ask you, Helen, who that might be, do you think? Any thoughts?
I mean, I know who it actually was.
You can't hold out on us.
But given that I've once eaten a lovely dinner at his house, I don't think I can concur with that assessment.
Oh, how lovely was the dinner?
It's really nice.
Oh.
Yeah, it was...
What you have? Bread? Really thick.
I mean, he's clearly got an IQ sufficiently that he didn't just turn on the stove and put his face into it. This is not something I feel I could say about Nadine Dorris.
You're not going to say who
I'm not going to
was?
compromise that sauce. No,
Okay.
those delicious.
Was it?
Yeah, why don't you just name a few people you think are thick?
OK.
And then we can all play along together.
All right. How long have you got? Is it Sam Coates? I think we can derive from that it is.
Wasn't there also like a leaked memo? No, leaked WhatsApp about Boris this week? Like
The COVID inquiry
Yes.
had the WhatsApps between Dominic Cummings, Simon Case, and the Number 10 press officer,
Yes.
Lee Kane. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They said Carrie's in charge, which is nice to know that someone was.
So what did Rishi Sunak have to say about the Tory candidate for Tamworth, Andrew Cooper, this week?
It was quite lukewarm.
It was
wasn't
very lukewarm to the point of tepid, to the point of freezing cold. Here they are having a laugh together.
Looking at a severed arm together.
Staring at...
And the severed arm has just put a cross in the Labour box.
Rishi said that Andrew was a thoroughly local candidate. Oh, stop, you're going to give him a big head.
Andrew Cooper said that people who didn't work were fucking idiots, fuckwits, something like that. Something broad and sensual.
That's a hell of a slur on the House of Commons, isn't it? Nothing to say. Nothing to say.
Yes, amongst 18 to 24-year-olds, the Tories are polling at 1%.
We've got one in.
TikTok videos. Is this something that Rishi might use to appeal to the youth? No.
he did a TikTok video, but he couldn't master transitions.
No.
Because you're meant to wave your hand and something changes.
Yes.
He waved his hand and
He was still Rishi
was
Sunak.
Just,
Still-
it was still...
He hadn't changed.
It was the shittest magic trick you've ever seen.
nothing changed.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
We actually have got that clip
Oh, you do have
right
that?
here. Check this out. This is fantastic.
If you live in or around Blythe, you're going to want to hear this. We're giving your town £20 million to improve things like the high street, safety and community heritage.
What do you have to do?
So you put your hand in, and when it comes back, that's you, but you've changed your costume, and it's like magic.
Oh, right.
Yes. It's called editing. It's been around for years.
I've never said this before, but you know what they need to do? They need to get in Matt Hancock. That man does some spicy TikToks.
Matt Hancock, the nemesis of the nursing home, really? Oh. Who has been adding to the Conservative Party's difficulties this week?
Lulu.
No.
No.
Someone who's been indulging in inappropriate behaviour. Again, it's pretty of a wide net.
Yeah.
Is it Mr. Peterbone?
Correct.
Okay.
He's been suspended from the party over accusations of a pattern of inappropriate behaviour towards an aide. It's a bit of nominative determinism there.
Pincher, bone.
Yes, exactly, yes. I wouldn't like to be Baroness Motorboat or Lord Cottaging right now. So we couldn't end conference season without a quick stop-off at the SNP gathering. So, this is exciting. This is the opening event to get everyone revved up.
And keeping you and Scotland on course for a better future as an independent nation.
Good morning.
I mean, electric atmosphere there.
Well, why is the party symbol a noose?
Can you tell me what the SNP speaker, Graham McCormick, is talking about here?
What we have in front of us here is what I would term Flatulence in a trance.
Flatulence in a trance.
Yes.
Very common raver's complaint.
What he's actually referring to is about the state of the Scottish independence movement.
I've been in a trance, but no flatulence was involved.
How do you know?
Well, I've had that and actually woke me up.
Yes, flatulence, as I know to my own cost, can turn into a movement. Yes, so this is, of course, the pair of by-elections in Tamworth and Mid-Bedfordshire. In Tamworth, The Guardian canvassed local opinion, including Claire, a carer, who said she was undecided. She don't care that much, then.
This is so callous.
Rishi Sunak's wife, Akshata Merton, recently did an interview about life in Downing Street. Merton, who has lived all over the world, said she was enjoying time in Westminster and all the opportunities and people she's been exposed to. Peter Bone gets around, doesn't he? In other news, the COVID inquiry uncovered more about how the government handled the pandemic. At one point, Cabinet Secretary Simon Case messaged his colleagues saying, "I'm not sure I can cope with today, might just go home." What, a Miss Wine Time Friday? And so on to round two, the one-armed bandit of news. Fingers on buzzers, teams.
But you not pull it?
All right. Oh, sorry, I got my Joe Biden. You pull lever. Okay. Oh.
There's a guy, I think he might be a Dutch guy, who specialises in finding stolen works of art.
Exactly that. This is the news. A Dutch art detective.
I've just told you that.
Yeah, yes. I was just repeating that for balance.
Oh, OK, fair enough.
Last week, he recovered 6 paintings that included a 360-year-old painting of a 7th century king called Radbard.
Oh,
Radbard. Which is what I got from doing Strictly. What famous character has he been named after?
Lulu.
Oh, no!
I'm answering the questions before they come up. Lulu.
Lulu. One of them's going to be Lulu eventually.
Yeah. Sure, Sherlock Holmes, judging by the picture there.
No, it's Indiana Jones. We can't afford a picture of Harrison Ford, presumably.
No.
No, Harrison Ford's getting older, so he's now...
Well, how old do you think Sherlock Holmes is?
There he is.
OK.
That's Arthur Brand, Dutch art detective. Oh.
I refer you to my previous answer.
There he is.
I read this story, and I'll be honest with you, he seems to have a coincidentally large number of times where someone hands him a stolen painting.
Well, yes, this recovery work, it was actually covered in a Dutch documentary. The series was called Kunstdetektiv. Ofcom are using them to investigate GB News. So what is the kind of super sleuth techniques that he uses?
Well, people phone him up and say, "Do you want this painting back?"
Yeah. That is exactly it. Yeah. He just sits at home and people bring them round.
Yeah.
What he said was, he was watching a football game at home and his doorbell rang and he only decided to answer it because it was not a good game. So he opened the door and somebody gave him the paintings, shook his hand and left.
So the art thieves were Jehovah's Witnesses?
I mean, the reference to Indiana Jones is a bit off-putting, isn't it? There's no Indiana Jones film called Indiana Jones and the Comfy Armchair.
Yeah. Indiana.
Have either of you two sat down before? The concept of a chair suddenly surprised you. Why am I shorter? Why are my knees out here?
Nearer the ground. How did he recover a Van Gogh painting?
Someone brought it round in an IKEA bag.
Correct. Someone brought it round in an IKEA bag, yes. Very good.
And then did he have to put the painting back together?
So, what went missing in Scotland this week?
The SNP?
Apart from the SNP.
There was a work of art, a statue. Was it a statue in Glasgow?
Yes, that's right.
It's one of the burghers of Calais.
Correct. Absolutely.
Rodin.
It is the Rodin statue. Here it is. It went missing. I mean, it's a £3 million, 6-foot-high Rodin sculpture.
I know where it is.
Oh.
It's in the British Museum.
Is it? Oh. Who else realised they were missing a few items?
This is the British Museum again.
It is the British Museum, yeah. 2,000 items were listed as missing, stolen or damaged. So what steps did the chair of the British Museum and job collector George Osborne say they are taking to stop future thefts?
Locking the door.
Aren't they going to digitise the whole collection?
That's correct, yes.
Right.
They're going to digitise the whole collection, according to the interim director, Sir Mark Jones, which would mean that everyone, no matter where in the world they live, will be able to see everything we have and then realise it used to be theirs. One of the works of art recovered by Arthur Brand was a portrait of William of Orange. It was actually just a picture of a bloke called William, but then the Just Stop Oil got hold of it. In other news, over 2,000 items have also gone missing from the British Museum. The police immediately appealed for information on anyone known to have handled stolen goods and were redirected back to the British Museum. Fingers on buzzers, teams.
Yep.
It's Sandwich Man, expensive Sandwich Man.
Correct.
Is he a new superhero?
There was a banker who claimed for 2 sandwiches, 2 drinks and a coffee when he was on a work trip, but his wife was with him, and then majestically tried to say, oh, no, I just like having 1 sandwich and then 1 in reserve.
That receipt doesn't make any sense.
What's that?
Well, he's got $7.50 for a sandwich, $7.50 for something called Mose Street, then $0.66 for taxi, which doesn't add up to $8.16. The whole thing's a total fabrication.
Yeah. I don't think they were expecting that level of forensic...
No. They didn't expect anybody to be that interested, but I am. Look at that.
But you're right, it was a banker who was dismissed by Citibank for a gross misconduct after he went on a business trip to Amsterdam and he claimed for a lunch, as you say, of 2 coffees, 2 sandwiches, a pasta pesto and a bolognese.
It's a waste of the bank's time. They should be bankrupting small countries.
Yeah. And according to the date on that receipt, this was in February 2021.
Yeah.
How long does it take to investigate this receipt?
Honestly, I would...
If I handed it into my accountant, he'd shove it straight up me... Do you know what I mean?
He could have got away with it, but after a bit of more cross-examination, he admitted he'd actually shared it with his partner, which was against company policy. He later took the Citibank to court, claiming wrongful dismissal, but lost the case.
Yeah, I'm not surprised if you produced that as a receipt. The judge would have thrown it out.
He told his employer initially, he said he was on strong medication when he replied to emails. Yeah, Gaviscon probably. So, and does anyone know what his job was before he was fired?
Financial fraud management.
Yes, exactly. The tribunal heard that the banking firm had a strict policy when it came to expensing meals. Permanent staff were allowed 2 standard-sized sandwiches a day. If you wanted a long-filled roll, you had to be a subcontractor. Hey! There we go. What was it? Everyone's a winner. Who else has been in the news for inappropriate conduct at work?
Is it the chairman of AirAsia getting a massage?
Yes.
Oh.
AirAsia boss Tony Fernandez was criticised after he posted a picture of himself when he was in a meeting receiving a massage after what he described as a stressful week. And let's have a look. This is Tony Fernandez getting a massage. I mean, it's a creepy picture, isn't it? But at least we know when he claims for 2 dinners, he eats them both himself. So... Meanwhile, whose love of a spa day has finally caught up with them?
Captain Tom. It's his daughter.
Yep.
And she's finally had to admit that some of the money that was raised for charity actually went to herself.
Yeah, here's a picture of her, Hannah Ingram Moore. Yes, look, I like money. Following a probe by the Charity Commission, the Captain Tom Foundation will soon be closed down. What's more, a spa complex built at her home using the £800,000 she creamed off the profits of her father's books might have to be demolished because they didn't get planning permission. Is there any suggestion she might give the £800,000 back?
What, not from her?
No.
She's been in court again this week. No.
No, she was interviewed by Piers Morgan.
Oh, worse.
Yes.
And she said that the family would keep the money, and saying that they were my father's books. He wrote them, and he decided what to do with the income. It was his wishes, not ours. And this is despite Captain Tom writing in the prologue of one of his books, with the offer to write this memoir, I have also been given the opportunity to raise even more money for the charitable foundation established in my name. And the one thing that would ruin my legacy would be a spa. God... I hate spas. Whatever you do, don't build a spa. Apparently he said that. Now, this is the banker who was sacked over a sandwich. The former bank employee who was on a 3-day work trip to Amsterdam denied claims he'd visited the city's famous coffee shops. After the tribunal uncovered receipts from the Namaste coffee shop, a McDonald's, a Dunkin' Donuts, a Burger King, a Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, the other Dunkin' Donuts, not on the Lindengracht, but the Hoogstraat, a KFC, the bigger Dunkin' Donuts round the corner, a 24-hour falafel shop, and another branch of KFC. He said he had no memory of the evening. I'm pulling the lever. Here it goes.
Oh, yes, this is about having to change the design of champagne corks because it's something to do with ecology. They're not going to pop anymore. They're just going to fizz.
Apparently, it's an environmentally friendly plastic stopper that will, according to the Daily Mail, as you rightly say, Paul, it will just hiss.
It's called a Zork.
A Zork?
This seems like a bad idea. Isn't half the fun the pop?
No, it's the alcohol does it for me.
Apparently, I read this great story that Noel Gallagher had said that to Liam that you can actually stop champagne going flat by putting a teaspoon in the top of the bottle. And Liam went, right. And he went home and he put a teaspoon in a bottle of milk. Right. This is the news that the champagne is about to become more environmentally friendly. Opening a bottle with a Zork means you won't hear the pop, which has become synonymous with celebrations. Instead, removing the Zork will sound like a long, slow, disappointing hiss, as in Liz Truss. What's the bad news this week for beer lovers?
Oh, but is this about sort of the taste of beer will change over the years due to climate change?
Yes, that's right, yeah. They've warned, scientists have said that climate change will apparently make beer more expensive and taste worse. Unless it's Carling, because it would taste the same. So, and what else will be impacted by climate change?
Well, lots of other things.
Yes, apart from...
What, you mean deserts and mountains and
Yeah, but something more
glaciers?
pressing than that.
Oh, right.
Biscuits.
Nearly.
Lulu.
Well, yeah, Lulu will be affected by
will be
climate
affected
change,
by it.
yes,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I can accept that as a correct answer. Point to Paul. No.
Is it wine?
Wine, yes, correct, yes. Apparently, according to the Mail Online, that
Yes.
well-known bastion of the truth, some wines will also get sweeter, while others will be poisoned with the ashtray flavour of wildfire smoke taint. According to the Mail Online, climate change is affecting the way we drink alcohol. Yes. Scientists claim that if climate change continues, then in the future, both red and white wine will be drunk with fish, because we'll all be living underwater. Time now for the odd one out round, just one between you this week. They are King Charles, Noel Gallagher, Stentor, and Ross Kemp. Ian.
It's about having a loud voice.
Oh, Stentor. Is that where Stentorian comes from?
Stentorian comes from. He was a herald. He was the Brian Blessed of his day. He had an incredibly loud voice. So, topical news quiz, that's the one I know.
Ross Kemp, there was a very famous meme of him at the World Cup, and he was topless, shouting.
So he shouted.
Is it about shouting?
Yes, but who's the odd one out then?
King Charles.
All right, why is that?
Well, because he doesn't shout or the others shout. Next one.
Well, you're right, it is King Charles.
It's King Charles, well, I said it.
It is King Charles.
He's the only one that's named after a spaniel.
Stentor's a Trojan. King Charles uses
He's Greek,
Trojan.
the other side.
I was just going for a Trojan condom joke. There was no...
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all,
right.
it's all right.
It might have been funny, but historically, completely inaccurate.
Every condom joke on this show is fact-checked in the chat.
Is Stentor the only one that can pull his tongue out really far?
They're all too loud, apart from King Charles, who advocates playing the bagpipes. Ross Kemp was accused of being too loud. According to the Daily Star, during a Punch and Judy show at the start of his career, Kemp took the acting role of Mr. Punch too seriously and went all Al Pacino, making the entire front row of children wet themselves. Here he is, presenting Jackanory.
Yeah! Now we hold.
So many questions.
Is it a poker online tuition? Now we hold.
Why is he naked, though? That's the thing.
It's strip poker.
Yeah. Ross Kemp explains in his autobiography that for the first time in Punch and Judy, playing a real-life Mr. Punch, he went full method. That would explain why he had a bloke's hand up his arse. So, who didn't appreciate Noel Gallagher being too loud?
His neighbours?
No, they were animals.
Cats?
Cats, correct. Speaking on a podcast, Gallagher said that while parties at his London mansion took their toll on his feline housemates, saying that they had a nervous breakdown, adding they were a pair of fucking lightweights. Dentor, according to Homer, was as powerful as the voices of 50 other men, and he is said to have died as a result of a shouting contest.
Oh, with Hermes?
With Hermes, yes. They lost his package one too many times. Why does the king think we should be playing the bagpipes?
He's finally lost it. Oh, it's very good for your breathing.
Yes.
It's really good for your lungs.
Yes, exactly, that's right. No, it's good for your health. A Scotsman advised that beginners may wish to find a large field to play in. But I prefer a panel show to practice on.
Oh, yeah.
So, there we go. Yeah, it's really good for your health.
I was wondering why we'd never done that before.
Yes. What were we talking about? Yes, who else is a firm advocate for the bagpipe therapy? Not Lulu.
Nicholas Sturgeon?
No, it's Alistair Campbell. Yes.
Oh.
He plays the Scottish national instrument.
Oh, weapon of mass destruction.
Yes, to relieve his stress, apparently, and pass it on to anyone else in Ish. Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication Scuba Magazine, the monthly magazine for British Sub-Aqua Club members. And we start with Sir Paul McCartney reveals hidden talent for what?
Making music. It's in popular hit tunes.
No, it's something quite agricultural, rural.
Bear baiting.
Well...
Shearing sheep.
Shearing sheep, yes, it is.
What?
Sheep shearing. Hey, well done. Yeah, you just...
I literally just said the most ridiculous thing I imagined. And it was correct.
And it was correct. Welcome to Britain. Talking about living on a farm with wife Linda, Paul McCartney said, "We used to do crazy things. Linda took a portrait of every one of our flock." Yeah, well, that's what Linda told you, Paul. She actually just took a picture of one and photocopied it. Next. Despite red eyes and a reputation for ferocity, what should be appreciated?
The Liberal Democrats.
Beelzebub. Lucifer. Mephistopheles. Prince Andrew.
No, It's the velvet swimming crab. This is from Scuba Magazine's What's Just Eaten My Toe section. Next. What spotted for the first time in 80 years?
1943. Titanic.
Something that might have showed up. Yes, a boat. A boat.
Oh,
This is a
shipwreck.
boat.
Mary
Yes.
Rose.
A kind of boat.
Up, didn't it?
Mary Beard.
Lifeboat.
It's a boat with a strange name.
Henry Watson. It's a strange name for a boat.
It is a boat. Yeah, this is not as strange as this. This is the British warship called Keith.
I wasn't too far off.
Is it like a ghost ship which is seen on the
Keith.
seas?
Yeah, hello. Those warships are called Illustrious and Endeavour. Ah, Keith, HMS Keith. Next, the best time to approach a fish is what?
8:20. When it's farting in a trance.
The best time to approach a fish is when they're being cleaned. So, no, check this picture out. This is a picture from Scuba Magazine. Fish cleaning.
How's he breathing?
Why? Why?
I think he's dead.
Whatever it is, it's making his eyes bulge.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that's a mask. I do beg your pardon. It's a mask.
Scuba Magazine also helpfully showed a photograph of a shark having his teeth cleaned. Ooh, bloody hell, look at that. Even sharks get an appointment quicker than we do. Next. Brian Blessed says he can what a gorilla.
Well, you're leading us down a path here, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Shout louder than a gorilla.
You must be shout loud.
Beat his chest.
No, it's not. You think it would.
Run faster than a.
Oh, now you're on the right track there.
Walk faster.
Oh, no, what? Something else.
Climb a tree.
Physical activity.
Oh, lift more weights.
It's nearly that. You're so close.
Yeah.
Do more
he can
push-ups than a
bench
gorilla.
press.
Do more pull-ups than a gorilla.
Yes, he can bench press. He can bench press the equivalent of a gorilla.
How does he know that?
Oh, I don't know. But Brian...
I mean, you've got to go and weigh a gorilla, get the weights, put a gorilla on the scales, put some weights on the scale, like they're equal.
Yeah, Brian, you and me, Whipsnade Zoo, tomorrow at dawn.
Yeah.
So, and finally, Colin the diver is concerned that...
His wife's having an affair with an octopus. She's found black ink behind her ear.
He found 8 pairs of shoes in the bedroom.
Yeah.
He says that Colin the diver is concerned that pools are getting too shallow to dive in. That's the bit you wash your feet in, you idiot. You know? So, final scores are Ian and Helen have 5, Paul and Daliso have 9.
9.
You got all of it. But, of course, before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
Due to public demand, Home Secretary placed in glass box.
Next.
And this is Brian Blessed after he attempted to powerlift a gorilla.
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Helen Lewis, Paul Merton and Daliso Chaponda, and I leave you with the news that after undergoing yet another teeth-whitening procedure, Rylan denies his cosmetic work is becoming a distraction on This Morning. At an agricultural show in Derbyshire, the young man who had the severe glandular reaction to some cheese is pleased that the swelling has started to go down. And more evidence of the increasing sophistication of new technology as an android begins to teach itself human behaviour. Good night.